In this video of the series, let's actually start laying out our gravity network. And a quick tour is we've got a topographic surface and a corridor and its associated alignments and profile views and profiles and its surface. And we are wanting to lay out some roadway inlets along this roadway between this high point and this low point. So that's our goal. Before I do much of anything with our networks, I need to know where these highs and lows are. And I can see them in profile, but I can't see them in plan. So let's label them real fast so we'll know what we're doing. I'm going to select here and choose the alignment. I'm going to right click and go to Edit Alignment Styles to open the label sets. I'm going to choose Profile Geometry Points, and I'm going to choose my low point label style that I've already got made. When I hit Add, you can see here that I get to choose what profile I want to use. So I'm going to choose my design. And I'm going to turn off everything but low point and high point. Hit OK and hit OK. And now I've got my labels to where I can see. The low point was pretty obvious, but the high point I wasn't real sure about. And the good part about doing it this way is it is dynamic. So as we all know, design is iterative. And if the roadway changes, these labels will change. So it's a little bit better than just a scratch line. So now that we've got everything ready, let's start roughing in a network. And we're going to put a trunk line here along the south with some crossing inlets at station 500 and 400 and at the low point. So let's come over to our prospector. Let's go to Networks, right click and create pipe network from by layout. I'm going to give it a name. I'm going to choose a parts list that I've already created. Now, a quick look at this parts list is under my pipes. I've only added 3 sizes. I've assigned a style and I've assigned a rule set. I'm going to rename these real fast before I start laying stuff out. And 36. And let's come over here and take a look at the rules so that y'all know what I have. And in here, the only rule applied to the pipes as of right now is in location is set to the outer wall with no offset. So we know what we have before we get started. Let's come over to structures. I've added 2 structures, a 48 by 48 and a 60 by 60 rectangular. I've assigned a style and I've assigned a rule. Let's take a look at the rule. And the only rule is a sump depth of 0 for now. Okay, so let's hit OK, OK, OK. And we're out of that. I just wanted you to see what I have. Previous videos go through how to create parts lists. The surface is the surface elevations for the rims, what it's going to reference when it does its first layout. So I'm going to choose my corridor. The alignment is a reference alignment for any station and offset labels that we may have. And our label styles, you can choose from what you have, but I have a storm style for plan view and structure for both structures and pipes. So I'm going to hit OK, and now I've got my network created over here, and I have my edit dialog box. So in here, I want to choose the structure I'm going to start with. So I'm going to choose a 48 by 48. And we're going to lay out the 18-inch pipe. This button right here allows you to lay things out. So I'm going to do pipes and structures first so that you can see how this works. And if you're using pipes and structures, it's important to try to remember to go from high to low. You can fix it if you don't after the fact, but it'll save you some effort if you can try to remember that. And now we're going to start laying out. I'm going to come over here to station 500. I'm going to go ahead and turn on my intersection snap for now, so I don't have to keep shift right clicking. And we're going to put one right here at station 500 on the downstream side. So we're going to plop one right there. And it will draw the inlet, and notice that it's automatically got the pipe that I can start laying out. Let's come down here to 400 and let's do the same thing. And I'm going to come all the way down here to our low point and do it one more time. So there's our inlets and our pipes, automatically laid out, both inlets and pipes. Conversely, you can do these as just structures or just pipes. So I'm going to lay out the structures on the other side and just do structures. I'm going to put one there, and one there. And now we're going to do pipes. And if you are connecting an object to a network, you'll notice that I get a different type of snap. So I get my regular O snap, but you can see that peachish red color symbol. If I come down here, it might be easier to see the symbol, that crosshair symbol, which is saying I'm going to connect to this structure. So I'm going to go from here, from high to low. So I'm going to start here, and now I'm connected, and I'm going to go to this one, and I'm good to go. I'm going to hit enter to end my command, and then repeat. So go from here to here, and let's go, whoops, activate the command and go from here to here. And let's change our scale down to something more manageable so those labels aren't massive. So we've got these roughed in now. Now I went straight from this station 400 to the low point. You can see that that tangent is kind of creeping away, and depending if you're in a curve, that's going to happen and you'll have to manage that. If you wanted to pull this in by putting maybe just a junction structure somewhere so that I can control my limits of construction, I'll come up here to structures, and I'm laying out just a 48 by 48 rectangle. And if I come by the pipe, you see that I have a different symbol, and what that symbol is telling me is it is going to split the pipe. So I'm going to click right here, and it splits the pipe with the structure wherever I chose. When I hit escape, you can see that it's now got two pipes. And I can move any of these structures after the fact by their grip, and I can rotate them by this grip. So let's rotate this one, maybe get it more in line with the road, and let's pull it in closer to our road edge. So we're compressing that construction limits. And we'll do the same thing to the rest of these. Now, the structures that come with Civil 3D, the default ones, all their insertion points are at the center. So if you're trying to be a bit more exact than I am in this design, or you're connecting the curb and gutter, you'll have to do some graphic lines so you'll have something to snap to. But since this is just for a video, I don't have to be uber exact. So I'm just pulling them down so that you can see me making these adjustments. So this one, we're going to rotate it, get it more in line with the edge of the road, and then we'll pull it down. And we'll just continue to do that for the rest of these. I'll pause the video so you don't have to see me doing this to all of them. And now we've got all our inlets roughly placed for our round one design. We've got them rotated. We've got them aligned where we want them. So now our pipes are generally right. I'm going to close this dialog box, and you can change the size. Now remember, we laid all these out as 18-inch pipe. Let's say I just know that this pipe down near the bottom, this last trunk line, it just can't be an 18. It's going to have to be something bigger, and I want to see that now. You can select any object that you have and come up here to swap part and choose a different part or part size from your parts list. So I chose pipe so you can see my pipes. I'm going to change it to 36 and hit OK, and it automatically made that bigger. And since that pipe's 36, I've got to make this inlet bigger. So let's come up here and swap this part and change it to a 60. And now it's so big I've got to pull it back away from the road. And you can change your sizes and your pipes just that easy, and you can do that as profile view as well. So I've got to swap this one over to a 60. Oh, and I got lucky, I put that one in the right spot. It's not quite in the road, so we're good to go there as well. And that is pretty much it for laying out in plan view. I didn't have an outfall pipe here, so let's come over here and edit our network. Whoops, wrong button. Let's edit our network, and we're going to do pipes and structures, but this time I'm going to change it to a null structure. And since that's a 36, we're going to make this a 36, and I'm going to come from here and we're going to outfall somewhere over here for now. Okay, so now this is a null structure. What is a null structure? A null structure is a structure to the software, but it has no data. So it's more of a meeting the software's requirement that every pipe must have a structure at each end. If you've ever ran any hydraulic software, sometimes that's required. I didn't have to do that graphically. I can delete that inlet and you can see that the pipe is okay. But if you're doing this in preparation for sending it to a third party or to an external software, you may have to do that null structure. I just wanted you to see how to do that and that it doesn't matter. If I delete that, so I don't have a structure, when I choose this pipe, you can see I've got grips here. So I can choose that grip and I'm able to lengthen this line, as you can see, so I can actually make it longer. So you know the software is okay with it. If I choose this grip, I can change the orientation. So just that easy. I cannot do that with pipes that are between structures, but you'll notice that for this part I've got this grip, which is the pipe diameter grip. So I can graphically click this and you can see the marks that I'm able to pull this out and change the diameters of it if I so wish. So I could pull that all the way out to that one and have a much larger pipe, as you can see. So I'll Control Z and get out of that and get it back to where it was. So you've got those. Structures don't have quite as many grips. All they have is the move and the rotate, not quite as in depth. You can see here that I have grips at the ends of the pipe when I choose it, but if I take that and I pull it over to here like this, it pulled it over and it is now going through the inlet. It's still connected. There's a little bit of some weirdness that's going on. I would not recommend doing that if you could help it. If you're going to a structure, end it at the structure. So one of those, we get a toy to play with, but beware of it. If I was to move it, when I do that, it just broke the connection to that inlet. So I can come back over here and reconnect it, and it's reconnected. So if you're getting through part of your iteration design and you don't want to delete a pipe, maybe you had to put another inlet in, maybe I had to have some flanking inlets here when I get in my design, I could reconnect that to a different inlet rather than delete the pipe and redraw it. And deleting a pipe and redrawing it can cause some problems whenever you get into profile views and stuff where you have to choose what structures and pipes are in being displayed, and that's why they give you that ability. And we're going to end that video here, and then the next one we're going to move over to the next step of design and start looking at this in profile view or taking care of the vertical controls.